One of the most frustrating and irritating realities of life that you're ever going to have to deal with is the fact that you're going to have to deal with people that you don't like in your sphere, in your orbit, and in particular, people that are fake, people that are posers, people that are something other than what they're actually trying to represent. And it makes you mad, it irritates you because it insults your intelligence. You want to do something about it. So perhaps you go into a rage. Perhaps you confront them boldly and you call them out for what they really are. You expose them and you say, I know what you're doing. I know what you're really all about, and I don't want any of it. And I'm going to let the whole world know about it. Well, that's because that's because these people come to you in the form of charity. They act like they're perhaps even your servant. They're looking out for your best interest. They're your friend, right? They're your friend. But you know they're anything but, and that's why you have such an adverse reaction to it. Nobody likes this. Nobody, not even them. But here's an illustration of one particular person back in 1932 who handled it in a certain way that actually provides this illustration for you in this video. You see, back in around 1932, that era, the Japanese were at China's throat. They were breaking the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was an effort by many of the nations of the world, excluding the United States for a while, to get other nations to limit or lay down their arms and to work together diplomatically. But Japan was not honoring that. Japan went after China, was mercilessly oppressing them, and so nations around the world, including the United States, would send emissaries and ambassadors over to try to integrate themselves with the Japanese and sit down with them and get to know them and just really try to mitigate what was going on, to kind of quash the regime. They did so unsuccessfully. But many stories came out of that time that were, to some people, kind of humorous. You see, there was a Mrs. Frances Judson McCoy, the wife of a U.S. general, who walked into her hotel bedroom in Beijing. Back then it was called Peiping, but in Beijing, as we know it today, she walked into her hotel bedroom and she caught a Japanese spy red-handed in her bedroom. And his claim was that he was a Chinese servant. Now, it wasn't assumed back then that many foreigners, anybody that was non-Japanese or non-Chinese, it wasn't assumed that foreigners knew the difference between Japanese and Chinese. So he claimed that he was a Chinese servant and he was there to dust. That's what he said. I'm here to dust. And she said, knowing what he was doing, knowing what he was probably really doing, she says, that's splendid. I'm so grateful because this room is dirty, isn't it? And when you're done with that, I would like you to mop the floors. So for 2 hours, just to keep up the pretense, to not give up his position, because after all, didn't he say he was there to serve her? He worked for 2 hours laboriously, tiring himself out for her. And when he was done with that, she says, well, now that this place is all bright and clean, what I'd like you to do is move my bed from that side of the room to this side of the room. I'd like you to move that bureau from there to there. And then I'd like you to scrub the ceilings. And he did. He continued to work for her. And he thought, he thought he was smart. He thought he was really smart. He didn't think anybody knew what was going on. And that's the thing about these people I'm talking about. The people that I'm talking about that irritate you, the people, these posers, these people that are fake, these people that are kind of like spies, they think they're smarter than you and they don't want to give up their position because they're going to get an advantage over you, right? They're not going to give that up. And neither did this Japanese spy, this Chinese servant, right? So he continues to work until she needs to get ready for the evening dinner. She wants to release him from his duty, so she tells him, she says, you are free to go. I thank you for all your help, Captain Kitagawa. So he walks out the door. Can you even imagine for 1 second what he must have thought, what he must have felt in all of his arrogance, realizing that he had not fooled her for 1 minute? She got more out of the experience than he did. She benefited more than he did. And sometimes these people, I believe, they think they're entertaining themselves by the fact that they think they're smarter than you, and that they're somehow working covertly in your life or in your sphere. But he knew he wasn't at that time. And the difference between what a lot of us do and what the general's wife did was that she did not react. She responded, but she didn't react. She even let him know that she knew who he was. She didn't let him get away with it, but she was going to let him play himself out unto the end. Whether he played it out to the end of his role, or till he was just too tired to go any further. And that's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know how you can do this with somebody else and wear them out, or how you can use them to your benefit. But what I will say is that perhaps there's some wisdom in keeping your cool and not reacting in an emotional way, but rather finding a way that you can use it to your benefit, and making sure that the other person pays the penalty, suffers the consequences of their own decision. Let them play themselves out, but be wise to what they're doing. There's a verse in the Bible. Jesus even tells his followers to be harmless as doves, but wise as serpents. And I think that the general's wife must have followed that advice. And I find it quite humorous and entertaining myself. I hope that you gleaned some kind of wisdom or insight from this little story, and it bears repeating. And if you liked it, feel free to share it with somebody. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye-bye.